Got Your Ears On is brought to you by Tactical Legion Knives. Live from the campus of Tom Radio, under the direction of Guido, Scoot, and Johnson, it's the pride of podcasting. It's Got Your Ears On.
All right, hello and welcome to this week's episode of Got Your Ears On. I'm Guido along with Scoot.
On location.
And Johnson.
And also receiving votes.
Yeah, so I am currently on location. I am not in the usual Got Your Ears On studio. I am recording live from Florida. Sunny and fun, warm Florida. Escaping the Northeast to hide from the coronavirus. So down here where it's warm and you can't catch things down here other than slow drivers. There's a lot of slow drivers.
What about Zika? Are you worried about Zika?
Yeah, what about the Zika virus? Can you catch that?
Is that the stuff you take when you got a cough? Zika?
I think that's the stuff you put on your nose.
No, I think that's
to
Zicam.
keep sunburns away.
I don't think you're going to want to shove Zika up your nose. I don't think you're going to do that.
I don't think that'd be a good idea. So, guys, are we going to try to do this whole show without talking about WVU basketball? Is that the goal?
No, I mean, I said we're also receiving votes. I mean,
what kind of votes are they? Is the question.
It sounds like, from the looks of it, it's all the votes are coming from Ken Pomeroy.
Yeah, I think they are. I think they might
are coming
be
from Ken Pomeroy.
Are we ever going to be able to win a game again? Is this going to happen? Are we done winning games? That's the question.
I think that it's a fair question. That's how big of a challenge things are right now.
I mean, we are no longer ranked in the top 25, so that's gone. That's done, right? So it's gone. We received votes, but we didn't get ranked in the top 25.
Well, and I don't think that so Scoot, to me, the top 25 ranking in basketball is like kind of okay. I mean, it's a nice thing to have. I don't really care all that much about it. I'll be honest with you. As long as I'm included in that round of 64, that's all I care about. But I just said that at the top of the show because if you told me, a month ago that I'd be in the receiving votes category after 16-3 start or something, right. I would have told you, man, you're crazy. There's no way that the fall off will be that big.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that the people giving the votes, these people that are voting,
these giver of votes, yeah,
I'd say they don't watch the games.
Oh,
they're just looking at scores, right? Because if you're watching the games, I don't think you think we're a top 25 team, so you wouldn't be giving us any kind of votes.
That's a valid argument.
I think a lot of times these guys are like mailing these things in. They just kind of go based on who it is. I mean, same reason why some teams are ranked preseason and some aren't. You're going based on name. You're going based on history.
Well, I think we talked a little bit about this last week, but I think you're also going on overall defensive stats, right? Like we built up some stats that were just so ridiculously good that we're still even now kind of living on them, right? I mean, it's not because of the way we look right now on the court, but
no. And I also think so. Play this hypothetical with me. Let's say we have a no-name second-year coach, guy fairly new to coaching, not a big name. Do we even get these votes?
Oh, I don't think so. I agree with you. Like, I think some of these are like, what do you want to call them? Bob Huggins sympathy votes? Is that what they are?
I just think they're like the old curmudgeon-y, kind of like the Baseball Writers Association. They're these old curmudgeon-y, like AP writers who just know Bob Huggins coaches at WVU. They don't really watch these games, so they think to themselves, "Well, Bob Huggins, he's a great coach. They've got to be a ranked team."
Yeah, he'll turn it around.
He's got
whatever
800 wins.
So AP, we've dropped off the AP, other than in the receiving votes category. Ken Pomeroy, who we talk about every week on the show, has dropped us now. But we were 7 last week. We dropped by 7. We're 14 now.
His brother Jerry had us off last week.
We're still ranked 3rd defensively, according to him, but we continue to drop down to 78 offensively. And he does, like, his rankings are all computer. Like, he just takes the statistics and whatever and puts them in. Do you think it's just because it's so heavily weighted on the first 12 games, 13 games, that's why we're still sticking around there? Because we did look.
I don't know how else it could.
We looked so beastly in those first games, and then like all of a sudden we just don't.
It's got to be. I don't understand why we would be ranked anything. And listen. You guys know I was the stalwart. I was the give it
you
time.
Were.
No, you were.
You were. I feel like Johnson and I jumped off the cliff a good 2-3 games
ago,
and you were still there.
Yeah, you were. You were trying to keep
guys,
us
don't
up.
jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there.
It's gonna be okay.
So Guido, back to your question though. There was on Twitter back on the 29th. So I bookmarked it the other day just to see where it would be when we got on the show to discuss. But at Browntown WV, you probably see this guy as well on Twitter. Yep. He posted that very question. So being honest with yourself, will WVU win another game this year? 45.5% said yes. 54.5% people said no, and that was on 165 votes.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of people still trying to be optimistic, but more than 50% are thinking it ain't gonna happen.
So let's talk a little bit more. We talked last week, and let's talk a little bit more because the games aren't worth talking about now. So let's talk a little bit more about this situation. And I know where Scoot's going to fall on this. Is this 100% a coaching issue? Is this a problem with the way this team has been coached this year? Is this a player personnel issue? Is it a combination thereof, which is more likely the answer? Where is this coming from? Why can't this get corrected, I guess?
Well, Scoot said it the other day, if you're convinced that talent is there, which I am.
Right. Which I am too.
And you're convinced that effort is there, that's the one that you could, I think it is. But if you're in on those two, then that only leaves coaching, right?
Right. And we got a question from Jeff Ruff on Twitter.
Yeah, and it's a good one.
It's a good one. And here's the question. I'll let you guys ponder this. Did Press Virginia have an effect on our coaching staff? Not having an emphasis on half-court offense, spacing, making jump shots for 5 years. What are our thoughts? What do you think, Scoot? What do you think on that?
Well, yes, I think it has had an issue, and I want to tie it into Jeff even tied it in later on Twitter, saying something that if you look at, I think the amount of minutes that guys are playing, we're showing that we've got the depth. So why aren't we running Press Virginia now? Like
right.
what's holding us back? And then
right.
I think he's the one that even posted a lot of field goal percentages, the top
he
percentages
did.
of Huggins.
Yeah, he did.
And a lot of those came during the Press Virginia era.
And they're consistent too. I mean, they're low to mid 40%, which mid 40% I would love right now. I'm not going to lie to you, but
so this is going to make Johnson very happy.
All right.
Because Johnson is a very big statistical guy. Like when we talk about, hey, what are we going to talk about when we talk about the teams? Johnson has got the research. He is our Joey Brackets, if you will, of this podcast.
When we do this podcast, he's got 7 spreadsheets open on his computer.
He is our Billy Bean. He is our sabermetric guy. Okay. So, looking at minutes played.
Yeah.
Right? This year and last year, we had over 10 guys. Last year we had 11 that averaged over 13 minutes a game. This year we have 10. Over 13 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Name a Division I team that does that.
Yeah, that's a ton.
None.
That's crazy.
I mean, at least of the top tier ones, none of them
None.
do that.
Now, what was our record last year? Good or bad?
That would be bad.
Well,
okay.
Bad. We're catching up.
And
bad.
how about this year? So far, it's good, but that's because of
good.
the
Hanging
strong
on.
first half.
Hanging on to good.
Right.
So, why are we? If we're running 10 guys out there for over 13 minutes, why aren't we pressing? Like we still make substitutions like we're in Press Virginia, but we don't run Press Virginia.
Well, then to run your argument forward, then, so you're saying, because Hugs would say, and he has said in post games, Guido can probably attest to this better than I can, but he has said outright, we suck at pressing. We're not good at it. So that's why we don't do it all the time. Now, I think we've seen him pull it out in games, and it's actually pretty effective.
I agree.
But he would say we're not very good at it. That's why we don't do it. And then I would argue then if you're not going to do that, then shorten up the bench.
Let's run 8 guys out.
Yeah.
Why are we running 10 guys 13 minutes?
But let me ask you something there, because that kind of segues into something I was pelting you guys with text the other day, and so one of the things that I was trying to come to terms with in my head, if you just from this last game that we all enjoyed, if you took McBride, McNeil, and Sherman, they had 40.
Wait a minute.
What?
Last game we all enjoyed.
Yeah, it was. I'm laying it on pretty thick.
Like that was like a month ago. The
What?
last game that we all enjoyed.
Oh no, I mean this last game against
which we all enjoy.
that we all enjoy. Like, yeah, there's a comma in there.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't.
I should have paused for dramatic effect.
Yes.
Right.
In the last game that we all enjoyed, we had McBride, McNeil, and Sherman combined for 47 minutes. McCabe, Napper, and Harler combined for 40 minutes. And my argument would be, I would prefer, how do I want to say this? I would just prefer when I look at those two groups in the guard, if you lump all the guards together and then I split them apart into those two groups, I would like us to maximize, I would expect that we would give 2/3, 3/4 of those minutes to McBride, McNeil, and Sherman at this point.
Yeah. Right.
So Scoot, that kind of fits in with what you're talking about. We go long stretches of the games, and I said this last week, I'll try to at least be consistent with my gripes, but I'm not going to second guess Hugs all over the place on his coaching, but I do scratch my head at the rotations. Sometimes you'll look out there and you're like, man, this lineup, right now, like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well,
so
go ahead, John or Guido.
So do you think that these odd rotations, or however you want to phrase it, do you think that these odd rotations, the lack of half court offense, the lack of the press Virginia, do you think if you changed all that you'd see that 34% that we shot the other day go up? I mean, is that or do you still think this is a shooting issue, that these guys just can't shoot, period?
Well, it is definitely a shooting issue, but I guess I would expect us to me, we're also not doing a wonderful job of getting guys in position to be, to get an open shot, to get a good shot. I mean, a lot of times we will comment to each other about a point guard at the top of the key driving the ball into the floor for, 2, 3, 4 Mississippi, and 4 guys just stationary kind of staring back at him. So to me, that's another smaller gripe. But right now I feel like we're constantly seeing, the end of the Texas game, a long stretch in the Oklahoma game where we definitely needed points. And it's that same lineup that includes, like Asaboyan, people that really aren't looking to score at all. At times where you're like, man, points are at a premium, we at least need to get some shots up. That's the thing that I scratch my head on.
Well, and here's the thing. No matter how good of a defensive team we are, if we're holding teams, to, whatever, 50%, 40% defensively, you're not going to be able to win games if you're only being able to, have a field goal percentage of 34%.
Well,
you just can't win games.
I agree.
It doesn't matter who you're playing.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're playing Iowa State, TCU, K-State, or if you're playing Kansas, obviously. Like, you got to score to be able to win.
No, I totally agree. But don't you think it's been quite some time since you felt like we were playing elite defense?
I think it's been hard to tell, Johnson, because when we look so bad offensively, and that even if we're playing good defense, we still haven't. I don't think we've given up a game. Sans a couple. I don't think we've given up that many games that we've let the other team score more than 70 points. I mean, they did the other day on us, but like other than that, we haven't seen a lot of those games. Most of the time we're losing, it's 63-57.
Right,
It's, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's the problem. I mean, I don't know how to fix that problem, I guess. And I think, if you've got like Scoot said, like if you've got these guys, if you've got 10 guys that are averaging 13 minutes, their legs should be fresh. You should be able to run press Virginia, hold everything back more, and be able to create more opportunity for you on the offensive side.
Well, then to answer Jeff's question, then do you think, I tend to think the answer is yes, because we did put so much effort into guys that would be hustling, playing defense. If you could shoot, terrific. But the name of the game was helter-skelter, create chaos, get deflections, and then hopefully you're making layups or dunking, putbacks. We weren't looking to, now we see a lot of jump shots because we're not getting that action.
2-3 years ago, we were advertising Press Virginia. It was all about the Press for us. Scoot's wearing a T-shirt that says Press Virginia.
Right.
Like, that was the whole point of the program, and we were successful with it. And last year's team, we know, was an issue of cohesiveness between the players. And this year's team, I felt like everybody was close, and then they started to lose, and everything kind of fell apart with the team, and then we've never figured out a way. There's been no change on how to fix that. We're seeing the same rotations. We're seeing the same playing time that we were seeing, 6 weeks ago when we were winning.
Well, here's the question.
And I think that's.
I got two questions actually. One, so if Press Virginia was successful, would we agree that Press Virginia was successful?
Of course.
Agreed.
Okay. Why wouldn't you recruit to that? Why wouldn't you bring in the guys that are going to... You've got the blueprint. Why wouldn't you just plug in the next group of guys to kind of fit that blueprint?
Well, and are we sure that the guys we have now don't fit any of that?
I think that was my next question. Are you trying to tell me that you couldn't put maybe a Gabe Osaboyan at the top of the press?
Come on.
And
can you imagine Oscar on the baseline like Jonathan Holton used to scan the base? It's just I think it begs the question, right? I mean, are we convinced that these guys aren't?
Brandon Napper hasn't shown me consistency on offense, but could he not play a little bit of defense? I mean, he's quick. I mean, there's things there that are not, it's close enough where we should be able to try it.
Yeah, it's. I tend to agree. I don't know why you would just completely write it off.
Now, one thing that Hug said in one of his press conferences here lately is that I believe this is a paraphrased, not direct quote, but we have different dudes.
Yeah,
right? We just got different dudes now. Well, there are some dudes that are not different.
Okay.
Do you know which dudes are not different?
Which one?
I don't know what.
I'll tell you this: we have not had a different dude since 2012.
Which of these dudes are not like the other? Which of these dudes are not the same?
Do you know which dudes haven't changed since 2012?
Yeah. I feel like I know the dudes you're talking about.
Yeah, which dudes?
Like
do they sit beside Hugs?
They do sit beside Hugs.
They do sit beside Hugs.
And I did a little research. Again, this is going to amaze. Look at I wish the listeners could see the Skype, because I said I did a little research.
You got my attention.
2 heads snap.
Yeah,
they were off looking to the side, and then all of a sudden, wham! I got them. I got eye
my
contact
attention.
right back.
Well, tell me about these dudes, Scoot. Tell me about these dudes
that
you've researched.
Are our coaching staff. Now, Ron Everhart, the newest of the dudes. He is the newest dude, but he might be one of the oldest dudes. But he is the newest dude. Came to us from Duquesne. Previous to that, he was at Northeastern. He was at McNeese State, which is... What state is that in? McNeese. And I'm sure their mascot... I feel like their mascot at McNeese State would be a squirrel.
Hold on. I like this. I like it when we do this.
So
hold on. Just give me a second.
McNeese State.
Come on.
Okay,
just,
can we
Guido, just ad-lib while I Goog.
At least give me the state that McNeese State is in. Can somebody? Can you tell me that?
You want to guess it?
I want McNeese State. I'm going to say McNeese State is in.
I got to guess.
I'm gonna say it's in New York.
Oh no.
You could not be more wrong.
It's in Alabama.
Okay.
You are closer.
It's in Alabama.
Georgia.
It is in Louisiana.
Their colors
have
got to be navy blue and yellow. Does that sound
Hold
right?
on.
Louisiana.
Hold on.
Louisiana's interesting.
They're blue and yellow.
Okay.
Royal blue
okay.
and gold.
I'll
Royal
go first.
blue.
I'll go first,
Okay.
Scooty. I'm gonna say they were the McNeese State Bumblebees.
All right.
Bumblebees. I'm going Bumblebees.
That would be
Going
terrific.
Flying squirrels.
Okay. I just told you they're in Louisiana.
I think they've got.
Well, there are bumblebees in.
They've
I
got
think
flying
there's
squirrels there,
bumblebees
don't they?
and bumblebees too.
I
yeah.
mean, it wouldn't be my first choice.
What do you think? Are you trying to tell me they're an alligator?
No, like crawl,
Is there an
crawdad.
alliteration
Like
with
what
it?
would what would Coach O say? I mean, it'd be like some kind of
Go Tigers!
They are the Cowboys.
What?
How
Are
boring
there
is
Cowboys
that?
in Louisiana?
Are there cows
Let's just
in
can we talk a
Louisiana?
minute?
Let
Can we
alone
talk a minute about
cowboys?
how boring that is, though? That's so boring.
Is their mascot look like a scary Burt Reynolds?
Oh man, I don't know. Keep going. That's a good question. Let me see.
I
If it
can't
is, that's
imagine.
awesome.
I can't imagine.
It's-
It's probably like some sort of
it's a-
desperate.
If it is, we're gonna at the something
We're gonna-
Oklahoma State and just say, hey, we got your
Hey,
weird
McNeese-
Burt Reynolds beat.
While
Yeah,
you're-
Mc-
while you're Google
McNeese
searching
State's
that.
Cowboy looks way better.
While-
Keep
while
going
you're
with your
looking
thought
at the
though.
logo.
Yeah, keep
Um,
going with your thought.
So those are the three other schools: Duquesne, Northeastern, and McNeese, in which Ron Everhart was a head coach.
The state
Right.
of McNeese. That's right.
Now,
The state of McNeese.
typically, one would think a great coach at those types of places would have a very strong record. Yes?
Okay.
No? I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe.
Okay, so
I don't-
he does have a winning record overall. 273 wins, 261 losses.
Not. I mean, okay, 50%.
He
He's batting-
was
batting 500.
0-3
I'm sorry. I just found the McNeese State mascot. Oh, jeez, this is great. I'm sorry, Scoot. That was.
Is it like
I
a
can't help
Yosemite
it.
Sam? What do
It
we got?
looks like Woody from Toy Story.
Oh,
That's what it
that's
reminds
pathetic.
me of. It's terrific.
Ugh.
Hold on. And his name's Rowdy. He doesn't even
Rowdy?
look rowdy. He doesn't look rowdy. You
He
know.
kind of looks a
I'm
little.
not
He's
sure
not-
Kinda
why,
like an-
why is there
he's
a
like an
cowboy
evil
in
Woody.
Louisiana?
He's a little
Um,
frightening.
So
Oh,
anyway,
man, we have so
0-3.
derailed Scoot on this
I
train of
know.
thought.
He did all of this
He
research.
did
John.
his research.
0
and
and
I-
3 in the
so much
NIT.
research.
I'd done
1 and 2
screwed
in the
him up.
CBI. 1 and 2 in the CBI. 0 and 3 in the NIT.
Okay.
Yes, he's been some places, but not a great, strong record. Okay. Now,
Right.
associate head coach is Larry Harrison.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, he's been the same dude since the get-go.
Right.
Since, as
Right.
some people like to say, the jump. Since
Well,
the
and
jump.
he was a dude from Cincinnati. He was a Cincinnati dude.
So
and-
he has this kind of bounced around a little bit. He was an assistant at a lot of places, Cincinnati being one. He was the
Okay.
head coach at Hartford University, and that's the only time he was ever been a head coach. He was there from 2000 to 2006, and his record was 67 and 107.
So he's been with them since the beginning. Ronnie Everhart's been with them since
2012.
Okay.
Josh Eilert, I think his name is Josh or Jared.
I think it's Josh Eilert. Yeah.
Okay, Josh Eilert he's kind of moved up the ranks as the coaching staff has kind of shifted a little bit. He's now an assistant coach. They've
So-
been there. They've been there a long time. Now,
So you're thinking these dudes are a little stale.
I'm just saying maybe these dudes need to go back to the drawing board and freshen things up.
But Scoot, these are the same dudes that before last season we would have laughed at you if you said you really need to change over this coaching
Well,
staff, right? Right?
Here, well, maybe.
And all but one, these are the same dudes that took us to a Final Four. Ron Everhart wasn't there. But
10 years ago. Yeah.
10 years ago.
Now,
Right.
these
I mean,
are
I love
also
it.
the-
I
these
love
are
it,
also
but
the same
10 years
dudes
ago, Guido.
that brought us that 13 and whatever record that was abysmal when we had didn't we have the Turk that one year and it was bad and he said he was going to fix it. Those are the same dudes.
Yeah, I mean, we're in this pattern of every 3, 4, 5 seasons we explode the roster lately.
Right.
You may remember Danny Jennings and Aaron Harris and Terry Henderson and
Remy Debo.
Remy Debo.
Remember Remy Debo? Do you know what Remy Debo would be great at? He would have been, a great wide receiver for Gerard Paquer and the Air France Raid. C'est bon.
Oh, God. So, Joe Lenardi, who Scoot just loves, he's one of Scoot's favorite.
I still would like to know what he does between the months of April and October.
Do you think he just, fills out brackets on those months? Like, he just, he probably does, a May bracket predicting next season.
Maybe he's a baseball usher. That's probably the only real job he can do between those months.
That's like my retirement job right there. So Joe Lenardi has us now as a 7 seed in the bracket. Where do you guys think we are? I mean, knowing that we have to at least win one of these two games. This team can't beat Baylor right now.
Are you sure?
They have to beat
Are
Iowa
you
State.
Sure?
They have to.
I laughed earlier because someone said that Hugs talking about this upcoming game, he said he would just like to win one like in Sabreton.
Listen, you said the sentence, Joe Lenardi has us currently as a 7 seed. I think you can take the beginning part of that sentence and duplicate it for next week, and you're going to say, Joe Lenardi currently has us as a 12 seed. And then the following week when we stink it up in the Big 12 Conference Tournament, you're going to say, Joe Lenardi currently has us as the last 4 in. And then you might say Joe Lenardi currently has us. I mean, I am 100% on board with this team. The problem I have is the trends are not looking good.
No.
And it feels like there's no hope. Well, I mean, what is the hope? What turns this around? I don't even Johnson, this is I think your thing here. What turns this around?
Well, what if you got crazy and you pulled the press back out? What if every once in a while you got creative like Hugs used to do, and when things were stale, he would, because we're focused on the offense, but when's the last time you saw Hugs throw out a 1-3-1 in the middle of a game just to screw up a team? You know what I mean? Think of the things that we used to do creatively. That's my disappointment lately, is I just don't feel like there's any there's no creativity. There's no adjustments. When we're floundering forever, we just keep doing the same old stuff. On defense, when people are killing us with the pick and rolls, 2-man defense, and we're texting each other like, man, how many lobs and dunks can a team get? It's like we just lately we don't switch it up, and that's what I'm disappointed in. We know they can. We've seen these guys coach. We've seen Hugs Press Virginia is a perfect example of that. Just what if we suddenly said, you know what? We're going to flip this on its ear, and we're going to roll into these last 2 games, or maybe the conference tournament. Remember last year we got a spark in the conference tournament?
Right.
What if we tossed it on its ear and said, okay, we're just going to attack this differently, and kind of energized it? It needs some kind of energy. Right now things are so flat.
I don't know. It's kind of it's just painful.
I kind of miss. I'll be honest. I never thought I would say this. I kind of miss the days when we had Jawan Staten playing 39 minutes a game. Can we not just let these guys? I mean, here's my thought. Let these guys make their mistakes, and let's just play them out.
Right.
Let's just see what happens instead of pulling guys so quickly.
Well,
stop putting McBride in for one, up and down on the court, and then pulling because he didn't guard somebody right on defense, and that's what happens.
And
I agree.
I've told you this from the get-go. I've been a big supporter of Jordan McCabe. If we're only going to play him for 3 or 4 minutes to start a game, don't play him at all. Let him play or don't play him. What are we doing? He's not the kind of guy you can play 3 or 4 minutes and really get the value of what he brings out of him.
I agree.
Right now,
I
he's
hear you.
scared to death. Like,
I
think, shoots and is, like, ready to head toward the bench because he knows it's coming. Oh, I'm ready here for some minutes. Time to roll.
I totally agree. Yeah, he knows he's getting the hook. He's almost afraid to do anything.
And I think he does work hard. I mean, I think he does.
But I think that applies to a lot of these guys. I think as soon as something happens, they know somebody's jumping off the bench, and they're kind of timid.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, guys, let's take a quick break. We'll be back. We have more to cover, more to talk about, and hopefully some good news somewhere along the line. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Got Your Ears On. Vortec Knives is a West Virginia owned and operated company specializing in high quality steel, fast opening, everyday carrying knives. If you go to vortechknives.com today and use the code GYEO, you get a 25% discount on your entire order. That's Vortech, VORTEK knives.com, a West Virginia owned and operated company specializing in fast opening, high quality, everyday carry knives. Vortec Knives. All right, welcome back to Got Your Ears On. Don't forget, check us out on Twitter at Got Your Ears. Same thing on Instagram at Got Your Ears. And you can find us on Facebook. Just go on Facebook and search and find us, follow us, and like us. We'd appreciate it. We'd like you back if you do that. You like us, we like you. So, Scoot, you spent all that time talking about Bob Huggins, but you don't think we should let Bob Huggins go, but you just have a little bit of a problem with Bob Huggins is what you're saying.
Well, you're talking about liking us and liking. There's a lot of liking you were just talking about. One thing I don't like was the length of Bob Huggins' pants at the shoot-around in Texas. Did you see the picture of Huggins when they were at Texas and he was sitting on a stool during like warm-ups or practice or shoot-around? They were easily like 47 inseam, if that was a thing.
And he needed what, a 40 or something?
Yeah, like how does that guy? He's like a big cat. Like he's 6'4", 6'5". Why does he have pants that are way too long? Like, let me tell you a story.
Maybe he's like still using pants inseam that he used to wear like 20 years ago, and he's shrunk.
For 20 years of my marriage, I didn't realize that pants came in lengths.
We need to. This is a segment. This should be a segment.
I didn't realize pants came in
I don't think we talk about
longer than 34 inches. I always wore whatever waist and 34 because that's all you could ever find. It was the longest they would have in a store. And then somebody told me, "Oh, you just have to order the longer ones." I've been walking around for 20 years. Being made fun of, being ridiculed, being asked where the water was. Where's the flood?
Because of the short pants.
Are those capris? This is how I've been living my life.
Are you serious?
Because I didn't realize I can get two more inches on my inseam. My wife withheld that information from me, I think, out of spite. I think she felt, this is my way of getting back to that. I'll get you back, sucker.
Why would she do this, Scoot?
I don't know. Either that or she found my ankles very attractive.
This inseam conspiracy.
I mean, it's great.
When do you think it started?
Well, I think I noticed the biggest issues when I put my pants in the dryer for the first time, and I felt that they got a little bit shorter.
And here's my follow-up. Did it start sometime after 1995 where you could have searched the internet for 36-inch inseam pants and you just refused or couldn't find an internet-enabled device?
In the store, who makes you think it's out there, right?
So here's the question I have for you, Scoot.
Yeah.
Is this? Do you have to get these pants at a special store? Is there a special pants store you shop at now?
No, like if I get jeans from American Eagle. When you go online to order clothes, they have that option, 36 length.
What did you think people taller
Correct.
than you did?
That's a good question. Never really thought
Just
about
like
it.
wore shorts
They only wore
or
shorts.
yeah,
I
like
figured they had
what?
to go to like casual male.
What did you think the entirety of the NBA did for
DXL.
pants? Like, what did you think they did?
I mean, I figured they pieced it together. They probably went to a tailor, right?
Yeah,
They took the hem out of the cuff,
took the hem out of the cuff.
right? Is that what people do back in the day? That's what you did.
I don't think anyone's did that.
Jebediah's a little bit
I mean,
taller than the rest of us. Let's take the hem out them cuffs, Mom.
Why is his name Jebediah?
It seems like an old-timey name. I don't know.
Why are they making Longaberger baskets and they're in like Amish country, Ohio?
Amish country.
Like, why
We got
isn't
some
it?
Mennonites here? Mennonites are tall Mennonites.
Oh my god!
Needing the long
Listen,
pants.
They love to ride bikes. They play baseball. Did you know that? The Amish play baseball?
Well, is that why you
yes.
thought they needed short pants that didn't quite come to their
And the
shoes?
Amish put 13 people in the outfield. They put the whole clan. They all go out in the outfield. Like, I've watched it. It's ridiculous.
No pop fly.
No, I mean,
so you're saying it's mostly
That's a
small
shift.
ball. You're saying it's mostly small ball is what you're
Oh
saying.
my God! Yeah, you got to bunt. You got to bunt to get on base with the Amish.
It's funny you say that, Scoot, because I'm in Florida right now, right?
Oh yeah, you got to go to Yoder's.
Got a bunt to get on base against the Amish.
You got to go
I've
to
never
Yoder's
heard that
in Sarasota.
sentence.
It's yeah, Scoot. So Scoot, I know that you also have some vacation time that you've spent down in the Bradenton area.
Yes.
So we've been in the same vicinity, and so I went to an Orioles. I'm a big Orioles fan. I went to an Orioles game on Saturday and watched the Orioles play. There were a ton of Mennonites there.
They love
there
the
was,
baseball. They can't
they
understand
love
why
the
there's only
baseball.
3 outfielders, but they love it. Like, you're missing 10 guys out there. I heard a couple guys yelling that from the stands.
No
Wait, you
wonder
can't
they're
start
down
the
6
inning.
runs.
You're missing 10 guys.
There's a huge population down here in southwestern Florida.
It's like they thought the reverse shift was going on. They were taking guys from the outfield and sticking them in the infield.
Right?
Like,
right.
what's going on?
They were like, "Why is everybody swinging and hitting the ball? There should be more bunts.
Right.
You should bunt more."
And the ladies, the Amish ladies, love the volleyball, which is
No, what?
yes, they play like again. They are very confused about how many people to put on one side. It was like 12 on 12 volleyball.
Well, Scoot, they got a lot.
Like-
I mean, if they waited, no one would ever get to play.
I guess, but could you reasonably swing your arms without the fear of hitting somebody if you got 12 people on a square?
Is this like are they playing like a gymnasium
No,
style
this is-
volleyball, or is this a beach volleyball?
It's more beach because it's
Like,
outdoors. It's outdoors, so it's
Okay.
more of a beach style. But all in dresses, which is
I
very
was gonna
impressive
say.
that they could maneuver as well in dresses.
It
Very
seems highly uncomfortable.
Yes, I would think yes. You know what's also very interesting is I think very few Amish people will ever listen to this podcast because it requires the internet.
so we can make. Oh man, that Amish Twitter is gonna blow us up
I
this
think
week.
we can speak freely here, fellas. I don't think we have to worry about offending that demographic.
Oh.
I mean, but so
Oh my god, this is the stupidest.
Listen, guys, we gotta talk. we gotta talk about something that. We gotta talk about something that makes us laugh. Because the basketball hasn't been enjoyable, so we can
talk
laugh by
about
making
the
fun of the
Amish.
Amish.
The Amish in
I mean, when was the last
sports,
time?
right?
When was the last time you saw an Amish guy at a WVU basketball game? You know, they
that's-
don't show up to that.
No, because they have to read about it in the newspaper, right? Because they're not catching it on the airwaves or watching.
How
it on
do
TV.
you know so much about the Amish?
I'm very thrown off tonight, Johnson, because I feel like Scoot has come with all of this like knowledge
Yeah,
and
it's
preparation
out of
tonight.
nowhere. I wasn't obviously I
my
wasn't
game.
prepared for it.
I brought my A game. You guys slacked off this week, and I've picked up the slack.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh, that's too funny. Well, listen, guys, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and talk about more Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Got Your Ears On. All right, welcome back to Got Your Ears On. Guido along with Scoot and Johnson. Don't forget, you got to go check out our website, right, Johnson? GotYourEarsOn.com.
Oh, yeah. So that's, like we always say, that's the hub for everything that you want to know. Don't laugh at me. I was totally paying attention. And all the social media places where you can subscribe to follow us, they're on the subscribe page. And then obviously any place where you listen to podcasts, you are going to find us, I promise you. But all the links are there. Check it out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. GotYourEarsOn.com. It's a great place to see what we've been talking about and what we may be talking about. And you can send us notes through it. So ask us questions just like Jeff Ruff did this week, and we'll put you on the show. You can also call our hotline, which is 304-518-GYEO. So give it a call, leave us a message, or text us on that number, and we'll definitely get you on the show. So, guys, our friends over at Voice of West Virginia, Mr. Brad Smith, who I know not everybody loves, but he did put up an interesting article that was basically just reposting, I guess, Asa Ahmad's Instagram feed the other day, which was, Scoot, kind of some pot shots at Coach Huggins.
Well, I think what I did learn from this Instagram post was I believe I now know what Antonio Brown has been doing. Antonio Brown has been hired by college athletes to post things on social media on their behalf, because this Instagram post, or several Instagram posts, was written like a true wordsmith.
Can we read them?
Man. I think Scoot should read them. I really think.
Well, I was going to read them, but I was going to ad lib them. Can I just read through them real quick so people know? Because I hadn't seen these prior to us talking about it here.
I want to hear Johnson's interpretation of Asa Ahmad.
All right, so it's quite a few. So I'll try to go through here really quick. So where is it? It starts, a team can only go as far as the head coach leads them. He calls whoever he's talking about, hint, hint, the head of the snake. All of these fans are believing everything the coach says, but they don't have a clue what goes on behind the scenes. So in reality, if a team's having a bad season, all the blame gets put on the players. S ain't a right, is what he says. Coaches are so quick to say family, but at the end of the day, it's all business. And if you're not helping them, then they're going to throw all type of shade at you. Never supposed to turn your back on players or talk down on them, especially when it's not going right. That negative energy is toxic and can make stuff worse than it is, but something you can control is how you react to it and play in it. And then I think this is where he wraps it up. He says players trust these coaches and put their lives in their hands for 4 years and can make or break them, but as soon as it doesn't go as planned, they switch up and talk bad on you, but still expect players to run through a wall for you. No matter how big a coach or player might be, respect goes along the way. And if you've got, hold on, now I got to catch up. If you've got the respect of your players, win, lose, or draw, they're going to lay everything out on the line for you because they know you're going to do the same. And then that's where he stops.
This series of Instagram posts also marks what some now have documented as the longest period of time Asa Ahmad was awake. Like, did you ever watch that guy play?
I was such an Asa Ahmad fan, and you always used to give me so much stuff.
You know what it was?
I was a fan
it was
of what
like
he
the
could
first
be.
season, his freshman year or whatever, his redshirt freshman or freshman year. We were like, ooh, this guy's going to be good. And then his sophomore year, where we were like, why isn't this guy any better? And then it was just like,
check his pulse.
What?
Is he breathing?
Yeah, but even in Issa's last season, early in that year, he had glimpses where Issa was the type of guy that he would suddenly just decide to tear down the lane and throw in a dunk, and it would bring you up out of your seat, and you'd be like, "Oh my God, where has that guy been?" And then that would just disappear.
Maybe
for
he
a
was just
while.
narcoleptic, and he just would like pass out asleep, because that's what I would see is this guy who, for a long time now, maybe he's a great guy. I really don't know him, but I felt at times he either had blackmail photos or had some sort of weird deal with Coach Huggins that, hey, I'll go to WVU as long as you start me. So many ridiculous starts in a row and I still produce nothing. You still have to start me kind of situation. Like I said, to look at Issa Ahmad, you look at his frame, you look at his athletic ability. You talked about those breathtaking dunks. It wasn't there most of the time.
Remember, he could palm a ball like a Nerf ball.
Yes.
So obviously he has been watching and listening to WVU and what Coach Huggins has to say, because if you didn't know this, Issa Ahmad right now is playing basketball over in Cyprus in the Cyprus Basketball Federation for, I'm not even going to try
I would
to
like
say
to hear you try it.
Oh my gosh, I can't
Come
even
on,
tell you.
do
Let's
it.
hear it.
Let's go.
I'm gonna say it's AEK.
No, don't spell it.
No. We won't.
No.
No, it's. You think it's AEK? AEK Larnaca? AEK Larnaca?
Maybe some Banaka.
I don't know.
Is he teammates with Anis Stuckis?
Oh, he could be. He could be.
So anyway, he is playing in the Cyprus Basketball Federation right now. Actually, didn't have a bad night the other night. 16 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. Not a bad night.
In the Cyprus League, sure.
Maybe.
Well, but do you think
I got a
what
notification on my phone about the score, so I was keeping on.
You've been following it.
Yeah,
what do you
You're big in
do you think that any of this is associated with anyone he's talking to on the current team, though?
Could be. I mean, was it just last year, right? That he wasn't even a senior year. It was his junior year. Yeah. What? He was what?
Banished. He was
Banished.
Banished. He was kicked off the team for violating
RUNNOFT. He was run off.
He was run off. RUNOFT. Run off. Man, we're in a tight spot. So do you maybe he's talking to a current player that's saying that he's frustrated with the way Huggins? Because I will say, and we've said this before, Huggins and these post-game press conferences and interviews with Tony Caridi I just don't know what these are different dudes. I don't know about these dudes, So it is a lot on the players that he's,
So do you
and
think
I know we've always. Go ahead.
Is he secretly trying to tell somebody to come to Cyprus with him? Is he saying, please leave the team?
Hey, come play in Cyprus.
Yeah, but he's doing it cryptically through some questionable grammar.
Very. I was actually impressed, Johnson, by your ability to decipher and translate. You did a very good job.
Oh, thank you.
So check out the article in Voice of West Virginia if you want to see what we mean. He's got posted up all of the original Instagram posts.
I think it is interesting though, because if you just take it at face value, he's not wrong. I mean, we do hear Hugs do that all the time. I think the players are used to that. I think they know what they're getting in Hugs. I think he drives them, and when he's not getting the results, then he's going to be like that about it. That's not new. We've been listening to that for a long time. I think even when, in much better seasons, if we have a string of games that are rough, you'll hear that out of Hugs. So I don't think that's anything new. And I think players generally have to know. Don't you think players know they're getting that when they're coming on board?
Well, and
it's hard coaching. I feel like Hugs,
if they do research, but I mean, but think about it. Just take a minute and think about all the post-game press conferences, everything you've ever watched. And he is when they play good, he'll say they're playing good and he'll give them the credit. But when they're playing bad, it's never a coaching issue. He's never really says, well, I have to fix this, or, Larry and I have to fix this, or whatever it might be, I mean, and that's in media situations that everybody's hearing, throughout all of West Virginia fandom, I mean, I can't imagine Scoot. We go back to Scoot because out of all of us, he has the most coaching experience, high-level coaching experience that Scoot has.
That's right.
Scoot, if you went out,
I feel like you're giving Scoot a lot of leeway on this, like a high level. You're adding high level.
Well,
I mean, is the Tyler County 3rd and 4th grade girls the?
Well, listen, that's my most recent stop.
Okay,
That's my
all
most
right.
recent stop.
Okay.
Scoot, like in your post-game press conferences that you used to do as a coach, would you have ever put, if there was an issue, if there was a loss, and you got some push from the media, would you ever put that back onto your players, or would you accept the blame as the coach?
No, I would accept the blame. Me, personally, I would accept the blame because I'm always thinking, I guess I'd maybe... I don't know, incorrectly, I would often think about if I were that kid.
Scoot's like, I don't know, Guido. These girls are not the same girls. I mean, you got some 4th graders. They want to just go to class and get their education. Then you got some girls, they want to get in the gym. And I think if there's a girl that's in 4th grade and wants to spend recess in the gym, then she needs to be able to spend recess in the gym.
Back to what we were actually talking about, Johnson.
The serious point of the show.
Excuse me.
I always would think about how would I react if a coach said something publicly about me, negative or positive, and if I felt that the negative was going to outweigh what I want in the long run, it's not worth me saying. So I'm going to just deflect and to be honest with you, probably give kind of a coach speak, wishy-washy, soft answer publicly. I mean, if I've got an issue with what kids are doing on the court, I'm going to keep that in-house and we'll deal with that, in the locker room or behind closed doors. I'm not going to air that out with the media of any kind. And I've had interviews and things after games, and I'm sure if you looked up some of my quotes and stuff, it was a lot of like, well, they played a better game than we did. I kind of gave credit back to the team that we played.
Right. Well, and I also wonder, like, I think his tactic is to try to make these guys feel guilty for not playing well or motivate them to play better. I also think he should consider the tactic of motivating them to play for him instead of playing for themselves. And if you say, listen, I'm letting these guys down, I must not be doing something right, does that start motivating them to say, man, we got to win this for coach. We got to do this for coach.
I think so. I think that's a huge change. I think that guys don't like guilt trips. I think that guys, especially when you've got several guys that are, fairly well documented, putting time in the gym, and this guy's going to come and say we're not getting enough time in the gym. Like, I think of like Jordan McCabe. Granted, he's struggled this year, but every time you turn around, somebody's videotaping or taking a picture of that guy shooting a basketball. And he's going to sit there and hear Huggins talk about how he's not in a gym and he's not practicing. I'd be like, come on, man, who are you talking to? So that would be frustrating.
I feel like Johnson disagrees with us totally on this.
No, I don't disagree. I actually think that the first time, maybe the second time, but like the 10th time you hear it, I think that's where guys start to turn it off, and then it's losing its effect. So I don't disagree with you. I just think that, like I said, I feel like guys know coming in what they're getting with Hugs. I really do. I think when you're coming in, you're probably, if it's going south, you're going to get that from him. So I just think we both know that guys respond, like people respond differently. Some people probably respond to that. Other people probably just clam up and go into a shell and you don't get anything out of it. That's what I fear, because sometimes late in these games, you look at that sideline and it's just like, when we already thought there was no energy, then there's definitely no energy. It's just completely flat.
So do you think this is just all Asa Ahmad being all whatever sour grapes over the fact that he got kicked off?
Well, I think it's one of those things where he's probably trying to also, not look like the bad guy in that situation. So I'm sure any chance in his mind that he gets to go see, it's not just me, it's, same thing's going on here with these guys still, and it's not just me that had to leave. It's the same stuff going on.
Right. Well, listen, guys, we should probably wrap it up for the week. We'll be back next week with another show. I will not be on location in sunny and beautiful, warm Florida. That'll be sad, but, maybe I'll sound a little bit better and not have as much background noise, so I apologize for all that tonight. Don't forget, guys, check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Got Your Ears. It's a great place to see what's going on with us. You can find out when the new show drops and all that information. Also on Facebook, just search Got Your Ears On. And check out our website, gotyourearson.com. A great place, again, to find out what we're talking about and where you can find being able to download and listen to our podcast. Boys, it's been real. I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening, everybody. You're listening to Got Your Ears On.